My clock says 8:59, so, but whenever you're ready.
You're the chair, we can rock and roll whenever you do.
Call meeting to order. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
George, we're gonna take your mask off. Good. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
Okay, I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Please be aware we're keeping a record of this meeting, and it's open to the public. Are there any awards, recognition, or correspondence?
I have none.
None?
Right. Minutes of the previous meeting, November 10th, 2021, and November 23rd, 2021.
The only, I do have a question on that. I thought that I read the letter, Munsterman letter, but the minutes say that you did. You remember?
Oh, I'm sorry, that is correct. So you will say, you want to say moved with, that's
Yeah,
which meeting?
yeah,
minute?
We did read that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Approved minutes with change, with correction.
All right, the motion to accept the minutes.
So moved with the
As
changes.
amended, right?
Yeah, as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Additions to the agenda.
None for me.
None.
I'll make an adjustment in deference to the presence of His Honor the Mayor of Pendleton. We'll move number 6 to number 1. Okay, is there any input from anyone wishing to address the commission other than on an item that we're going to talk about? All right. We will move to item 1, which is an agreement with the City of Pendleton, which is before the commissioners. Doug, you want to present?
Oh, sure. At the November 10th board meeting, the Board of Commissioners made the decision to approve the revolving loan fund with the City of Pendleton. At that time, the actual agreement with the City of Pendleton was deferred until a later date. The agreement is now before the board for review and possible approval.
Okay, there's a complete text of the agreement included in the packet. Just for the record, I also distributed that complete text yesterday.
Mr. Chair, I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Murdoch, I just want to say on behalf of the City of Pendleton how grateful we are for this county's generosity, and that this building of homes is not only going to increase the economy, but it's going to provide places for people to put their kids in our schools, shop locally. This is going to be a huge economic boost for our community. So thank you all of you for considering this issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Turner, and I wouldn't consider it generosity, I would consider it a county investment, to be honest with you.
Thank you. Well, that's the way we look at it too, but I just wanted to tell you how grateful we are for your initiative.
Thank you, Mayor Turner.
Something we've talked about for a very long time, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see the development happen. Be interesting whether it happens before or after the Army Depot comes to us. Talking about both of them for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, item number 1 is a position reclassification, the old item 1. And CDD, I see Mrs. Beck on there.
Good morning. I am before you today to respectfully request to reclassify the Veteran Services Coordinator position to a pay scale that is commensurate with the responsibilities it currently has. The cost would be approximately $15,000, which would be coming out of general fund money.
Mr. Chair, I'll speak a little bit to that as well. The person that we have in mind for this position is already doing supervisor level work, and right now we just want to make sure that she's getting paid for the work she's doing, and with that, I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, service equity study request for proposals. I believe that's yours as well.
Correct. I am before you to ask for permission to go out for request for proposal for technical assistance and completion of a service equity study and implementation plan with the new 2021-2023 contract with the Oregon Office of Developmental Disabilities. One of the requirements is to complete a service equity survey by June 30th, 2022, and an implementation plan to address the survey by June 30th, 2023. We do not have the expertise nor experience and knowledge to do this on our own, so we are requesting to get assistance.
Before, if you don't mind, the one thing I wanted to point out is at the staff meeting, Kim pointed out that the discussion with Robert and her budget covers this without any additional budget adjustments for this. So I kind of applaud Kim for finding a way to do this.
Well, I was going to say the exact same thing. So, with that, I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item is the Zero Suicide Initiative. This is before the board for consideration. Commissioner Schaefer or council?
I can speak to this. One of the things that CCS, as of today, our new mental health provider, and as of September 1st, our substance use provider, one of the things that they've been doing is the Zero Suicide Pledge. And the model has been developed and implemented since 2012. The model is an aspirational challenge and practical framework for, I got a glare, sorry, statewide transformation towards safe suicide care, community counseling solutions. The new county mental health services provider has requested that the county take a pledge for zero suicide and to sign onto the initiative. One of the things that Kimberly Lindsay likes to say is, yeah, that's pretty ambitious, but how many suicides is too many? And her response is one. So, and I tend to agree with her. And with that, I would make a motion to approve and sign the pledge for zero suicide.
I'd second that motion and also make the same comments that Commissioner Schaefer did. I'd like to add that been through this program in the private corporate world at the highest levels. And one thing I can tell you for sure is that if it is pushed down from the top, there is a lot more respect for the pledge. It gives a lot more teeth to it. So I'm really proud that we're moving forward with this pledge. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Our next item is the renovation contract for the jail. I think I may have prematurely sent that over there. Who's going to present?
What's before the board is a potential contract for the renovations at the jail. An invitation to bid was issued by the county for the renovation. One bid was submitted from 2KG Contractors, Inc., and that bid is before the board for review and potential awarding of the contract. The amount of the bid, the base bid is $2.8 million, and there are two alternatives that can be added to that as well. And that also will need to be discussed and decided by the board if you want to have alternatives, then if you award the contract.
I would move to award the contract for jail renovation to 2KG Contractors in the base amount of $2,883,000 with the alternates of $55,000 and $320,000, with comments after the second.
Second.
I was really impressed, actually, in the process of how we reviewed this bid. It's not what you would call a smooth issue. Recognizing that 1.8 million of this comes from the state, I'm not big on sending money back to the state. I also want to commend Sheriff Rowan for reaching out and continuing to reach out to find those additional funds to help work on this, and I think that's important. But I also want to commend our CFO for being creative and finding a path to get this funded. And then I also wanted to mention our project manager and his commitment to looking at engineered valuation and a commitment to bring any potential or opportunity of savings back to us to review. So it's not a straight line as everybody assumes this expenditure is, but it is needed, necessary, and without a doubt a county function that needs to take place.
I think I also would like to give credit to what we call the legislative committee that exists within the city of Pendleton for having met at least every other week and certainly often once a week for over 2 years in an effort to get support from this from the legislature, including a number of trips to Salem in order to promote the idea of the jail renovation. They certainly were very committed. They had 2 projects, Farm 2 and the jail renovation, that they pursued. Both of them are about to become a reality. And so I think it's kudos to that group as well for their efforts in doing that. Now, before we vote, I would like to call on Sheriff Rowan, should he choose to make a comment.
Sheriff Terry Rowan. Commissioner Murdoch, I couldn't have said it better. You know, when we first took on this concept, this idea, I kind of felt like we were alone, but then after a conversation with you and getting the legislative committee involved, it just all kind of came together. There was some brilliant folks. Too many to even name here today, but I can't thank them enough for their commitment to making this come to fruition. Our local legislative committee, our local legislators that really pushed this forward. You know, I was pleasantly surprised by how it moved through, and the roller coaster ride that we've been on over the last few years to make this thing happen. And again, I want to thank the board for this consideration of moving this project forward.
Thank you. I think it's also important to point out that we spend an awful lot of time talking about divisiveness within state government, and divisiveness between political parties. And I have to tell you that the bulk of the support, certainly our local legislators, were solidly behind it, but we received an incredible amount of support from Democratic leadership in the legislature who actually came here, I believe, and toured the jail with the sheriff and showed a distinct interest in that. And I think when we talk about divisiveness, this is a remarkable example of what bipartisanship can accomplish. So unless there's more comments, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Did you have anything else to put on there?
For board appointments.
No, I mean,
Oh.
it's exciting to see that come forward. All right. The only other item on the agenda is appointments to the Fair Board. Dan, do you want to do that?
Yeah, actually, or Doug,
Go ahead.
it's a pleasure to do it, to be honest with you. I sat in on the interviews of all the applicants, and I have to say that hopefully the applicants that didn't get selected stayed very active in the fair, and they did make that commitment. The two gentlemen that were selected are Bob Curry, or Robert Curry, and Kelly Burke, both from Pendleton, both very active in the Umatilla County Fair, have done a lot of work behind the scenes to help as volunteers for quite a few years. Both have kids involved. The only, and I'm gonna, before I make the motion, the only downside to this is that we did not have any female applicants this time, and I'm not saying that it's a must, but I have to admit, after serving on that board for decades, the addition of that vision and their views and their hard work on the female side, I truly hope that in the future that we have more applicants that we can consider for that board. But at this time, I would make a motion to appoint Robert A. Curry, beginning January 1, as a board member, and position 6 is the backup position that will become the commissioner a year from now, or 2 years, a year from now, right?
Right, there'll be a
Yeah.
board elect for 2022.
2022.
And this is the one.
Kelly W. Burke for that position.
I think that's the other way around, isn't it?
Yes, I'm
Michael,
sorry.
go for it.
Yes. Kelly Burke becomes a member of the board January 1, 2022. Robert A. Curry becomes a member of the board January 1, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And they have no idea how much work they're in for.
I spent 20 years on fair boards, I well understand. Everybody thinks there's a lot of perks attached.
Get your pocketbook out.
Yeah, it's expensive, among other things. All right. Do we have any cause for executive session?
No.
Okay. All right, anything from the commissioners?
I would like to take a moment and kind of a recognition of Chairman Murdoch. This is his next to last meeting as chairman of the Umatilla County Commissioners, and I think it's an extremely appropriate day, as we have just invested well over $5 million, and then if you count additional projects around the county in the last year, well over $6 million into the city of Pendleton. And I think that the vision of not just the different entities in Pendleton itself, but the vision of our chairman, George Murdoch, realizing that investment wherever the community is important. The West End has had extreme development in many places because of the vision of this board. And I see that happening more in the West End because of the development that's taking place, that critical mass. And I think that the infusion of Chairman Murdoch's vision and the dollars coming from the county is going to create that critical mass in Pendleton, that once that ball starts rolling, that it becomes self-sustaining to some degree. And I am very encouraged about the optimism here in Pendleton, the optimism of our chairman and Commissioner Schaefer, and I look forward to the results of our investments coming to fruition very quickly. We know the jail's getting ready to roll now, quickly. The farm too is getting ready to roll. The investment in the infrastructure of Pendleton, I hopefully that comes together quickly, because once that ball starts rolling, we become a little bit selfish because it feeds back into the county. It gives opportunity to others through the tax base. So I would like to extend my thanks and guidance from Chairman Murdoch, and again recognize his vision of and champion these investments in this community. So thank you, Chairman Murdoch.
Well, thank you. I think it's exciting. We keep hearing even Commissioner Schaefer was talking this morning about the fact that another major project, the transfer of the Army Depot, may in fact become a reality in 2022. Commissioner Hansel spent 32 years on the board awaiting that. I hope it actually occurs before I'm gone. So, but I think we have enough other projects going on, so I appreciate that, Commissioner Dorn. There's just an endless array of things I think are happening, and it bodes well for Umatilla County. So,
Yes, it does.
and I think it's a vision of the commission going forward that's embraced by the entire commission. So, any comments, Commissioner Schaefer?
I'm not following that. I'm good. No, that's perfect. Well said.
All right.